Welcome to the Extra Lucky Podcast. I'm Taryn.
And I'm Jess.
And we are joined today by Liz Plachta, who is the co-founder of Ruby's Rainbows. Liz founded Ruby's Rainbows and then became the executive director in 2016. Liz's drive to start Ruby's Rainbow came from her adoration for her family. Her passion to provide her children with the best inspired her to help other families like hers with educational costs and support, as well as helping to raise standards and expectations of individuals with Down syndrome. She is truly the driving force behind Ruby's Rainbow. Liz resides in Austin, Texas with her handsome hubby, Tim, and their daughters, Ruby and big sister, Ella May. They enjoy spending their time as a family and look forward to continuing their mission and passion of showing the world just what people who are rocking an extra chromosome are made of. So thank you, Liz, for joining us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
We have both had the pleasure of meeting you at DSDN Rockin' Moms retreats, and you're one of those people, Liz, who's like an instant friend.
Yeah, clearly.
When I met you at the one 2 years ago, I was like, Liz, it's me, and you're like, hi. And
No, I'll never forget. Do you remember when I was trying to set up my page for fundraising, and I was having trouble, like technical difficulties, and I called like the number, and it was
Oh,
you.
yes. Yes. Oh,
And
yeah.
you were,
I
like,
mean,
walking me through it, and I was like, oh my gosh,
I,
she's literally
I
helping me.
am Ruby's Rainbow. Yeah.
You are.
Oh, you're gonna get me. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I just love people, right? So,
Right.
me all the people, and yeah, instant friends for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So before we talk about Ruby's Rainbow, because that's obviously what I want to spend time on, I'd love to. I actually don't know what your diagnosis story was like. Your early days.
Yeah.
Some of the feelings that you've worked through. So I would love to hear more about all of that.
Yeah. So, I didn't know anything about Down syndrome before Ruby was born, and I didn't know that she had Down syndrome until she was born. So, yeah, I basically she was born, and they said, we see soft signs of Down syndrome, and um, not knowing anything about Down syndrome. My husband was a special education teacher at the time, and he literally looked down at me and was like, "We got this. My kids with Down
Mhm.
syndrome are my favorite." And so, I just kind of followed his lead in the beginning, and then once she was in the NICU for several weeks, and when we got her home, I just kind of started following her lead, right? Because I
Right.
didn't know what to expect. Of course, I went out there and checked out every book there was known to man on
Mhm.
Down syndrome, and quickly was like, okay, I'm done with that.
Yeah. Right. That's what we've all done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I just, and I always say, like, the second I held her, in the hospital, I mean, she came out, I always say she came out tiny, quick, and rocking an extra chromosome.
Mhm.
And so, like, the minute, I finally got to hold her because they just whisked her away, because they had to do emergency C-section, they whisk her away. And then, um, so I didn't see her, and then they come in and they tell me she has Down syndrome. And so then I'm just like, I don't care. Like, can I just hold my baby?
Yeah.
Like, just
Yeah.
me to my baby. And
Mhm.
so, the minute I held her, I just kind of knew, that I needed the world to see what I saw in her, right? That she's amazing,
Mhm.
beautiful, and worthy, and all of these things. So, I mean, I quickly in the beginning knew that um I needed a really loud megaphone, and, just needed to shout her worth to, anybody that would listen.
Mhm.
And so we get her home, and, it's probably when she was about 6 months old is really when, my mama heart was like, you gotta do something, you gotta do something, you
Mhm.
gotta do
Mhm.
something. And I was so, like, focused on like her future, and like, what is gonna, is she gonna have friends? Is she gonna have a community that values and loves her? Is she gonna have a job? Is she gonna get married someday? Is she gonna go to college? All of these things are going through my head. And back then there wasn't a whole lot on social media, like Instagram wasn't even a thing really. And so
But what
there,
year was she born?
she was 2010.
Okay. Yeah.
She just turned 13 in December, and she is all about
Teenager.
teenager now.
Mhm.
Um, um, so I really, when I started thinking about what I wanted to do, I knew that I wanted to do something to help adults because I really selfishly just wanted to see what the possibilities were and really hang out with adults and like, what is the potential for her life.
Mhm.
And yeah, and so I looked at my husband when she was about 6 months old, and I said, "I think I want to help somebody with Down syndrome go to college." And
Mhm.
he literally looked at me and was like, "Do people with Down syndrome go to college?" And I
Yeah.
was like, "I don't know, but I'm gonna find." I think I literally said, "I'm gonna find that one person with Down syndrome, and I'm gonna help them go for their dreams." And come to find out, there's programs across the country that are
Mhm.
specifically for people that have intellectual disabilities. Um, on college campuses to help them learn and grow and become more independent and step away from their parents and really just gain that confidence and that independence that you can't get anywhere else,
Right.
right? Like, it's really hard. uh I mean, I know I do things for Ruby all the time that I shouldn't because she's here and with me and I'm impatient and I'm like, just give it to me, I'll do it.
Right. Well,
But when we're
she's also your baby, right? Like we all do that to our youngest, which
yes,
is
for sure, for
for
sure.
sure.
But once you're kind of kicked to the curb, right? And you step away from your parents, that's when you learn the most about yourself, the world, like how to navigate it. And
Yeah.
that's really, what I want for my own daughter is to be able to step away from us and figure out what she wants to do with her life and, what she loves and maybe figure out what kind of, I mean, right now she says she wants to be a chef. And so, we foster all of these things along the way. I mean, she's had many things. Doctor was one. She loves to
Mhm.
get her blood drawn. So she's like, we were like,
She
maybe a
does? I love
maybe
that
a
for you.
phlebotomist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. She marches right in there and she's like, here you go. She's like,
Brave little girl. Oh my, not even
it
little girl.
wasn't
Yeah.
always that way though. Like we
Yeah.
used to
Right.
do the holding down and the screaming and the
Okay.
"What are you doing to me?" I mean, which is
Mhm.
horrible. It's and then one day, something I don't know. She's always like, "I'm brave," and so I think her braveness just took over. Um, but anyway, so yeah, these are all the things that I wanted her to have the same opportunities as her older sister, right?
Mhm.
Whether that be college or, marriage or a job that she loves. Like she's worthy and capable and deserves it all, just like her
Mhm.
big sister.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where my the college thing came from, was just that desire to kind of have a front row seat into the future and really see what opportunities were available.
Yeah.
And that first year I had a goal of one $2,000 scholarship and we ended up being able to grant 11 $2,000 scholarships. So I was
Wow.
like, oh my gosh, like this is a thing, like people
Yeah.
are dreaming and believing with us and they're
Well, let me
not
ask you. Let me ask you though. How like so? Did you did the nonprofit like because we we've dealt with the LLC, the nonprofit arm, all these experiences. It's a lot of work. So, did you do this on your own? Did you have a partner? Did your husband help you? Like break that down for us. 'Cause I think there's so much that can be done in this space, and I think people sometimes think
yeah.
there's a barrier to entry.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
would you mind sharing a little bit about the
not at
experience?
all. So I was an esthetician,
Okay.
for when I had Ruby. I helped people with hair problems and their skin problems, and I
Mhm.
loved that job.
You have
I
the
used
best skin, honestly. Like I could bounce
oh
a
you're
penny off your
so
forehead. I don't know
sweet.
what that skincare routine is, but we're gonna need you to drop that in the show notes. Thank you.
You're so sweet. Thank you. I used to joke with my boss that he would have to, because I did a lot of laser hair removal, and I just loved my job. I got to see new people each day and talk with them, and make them feel comfortable while I was
Yeah.
either, you know, chemically peeling their face or
Yeah.
zapping their, unwanted hair. So I loved that job, and I used to joke with my boss that he would have to pry the laser from my cold dead hands. I'd be with him forever or whatever, and then enter this, little lady with her chromosome. And of course, we know now that, that has changed. But so I really just started off, with just researching and
Mhm.
Googling, like, okay, well, what do I need to do? What are the steps,
Right.
and I just kind of took it, day by day, and, did the application to become a nonprofit on my own. Created, like, you got to do your, I mean, that's like a whole process, right?
Right.
And
But you figured it out, you bootstrapped it, you Googled it, right?
I did. I used the almighty Google, and I figured it out. And I think, I had this little, cheerleader sitting next to me every day. I would look at her and I'd be like, okay, you're worth it. We're doing this.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, we feel that. Oh, yeah.
Um, yeah. And so, yeah. And then, yeah, I just remember uh, I used to work, also. I mean, I've done many things. I was waited tables for many years at a place here in town called Maudie's, and I remember I, had been talking with people about this idea, and then I had created the nonprofit, and all this stuff. And my friends at Maudie's, they're still like a big family of mine, and I mean, we eat there. All the Ruby's like the mayor of Maudie's.
Yeah.
Walks in, everybody's like, "Hey, yo, high five," you know? Um, but they reached out, and, my friend was like, "We're thinking about doing a golf tournament, a charity golf tournament. We thought about you." And so I remember that was the first money we ever raised. We raised
Wow.
$7,500 at this
That's a
golf tournament.
lot.
And I
Wow.
was losing my mind, going, "Oh my gosh, like, this is the thing." And then we do a bowling tournament every summer. It's called Ruby's Rockin' Rainbow. It's like a bowling tournament with live music, and
We need to go one
Yeah,
year
honestly, we really
because,
should.
like,
it
I want
you
to go to
need
Austin in
to.
general, and
Yeah.
It's so fun.
yeah,
I mean, one of our, core values, and one of my core values as a human being, is community.
yeah,
Like I said earlier, I love people. I love bringing people together. And so, that's just such a fun. I mean, here we are 13 years later, still doing it, right?
Right, yeah.
And people look forward to it every year, because it's like the one time of year you look down the lanes and you see all these people in the same place that have come together to, make a difference,
Mhm,
in the lives of people with Down syndrome.
mhm.
And then that first year with the bowling tournament, we raised, like, I don't know, $20,000 or something.
Wow.
And I was losing my flipping mind. I'm like, oh my God, people care. They
Yes,
care.
they
And they're
care.
believing in what we're doing, and they're believing in Ruby. And so, for me, I was just, so that first year we were able to give out 11 $2,000 scholarships. And I literally, was like, okay, this is a thing. Like,
Mhm.
people are dreaming and believing with us. And so, fast forward to this past year, we gave out $632,000 in scholarships,
Yeah.
to 141 amazing and capable human
yeah.
beings that
Well,
happen to
can we
have
all
Down
just do a little
syndrome.
round of applause
I
here?
mean, it's
Oh,
incredible.
I'm
It's
so
been an incredible journey. And
I'm chuckling as you're telling this journey of the money because I have. This is my third year that I'll be on the pledge committee. I'm
yeah.
so excited, and the more money that we raise along the way as a pledge committee, the more exclamation point Liz uses.
Love my exclamation point.
Oh, I can only imagine when you raise that first $7,500, like
I mean,
there were
exclamation point.
7,500.
yes. I mean, and it truly is a testament to this community, right?
Yeah.
Like, I could not have done what I have done without each and every one of you guys in this community. I mean, our our sorry, I'm losing my train
Okay.
of thought here. Our 321 pledge, has kind of been, like, our dictator of how many scholarships we give out for the last several years. Last year we raised, like, $650,000, which was incredible. Like,
Mhm.
2 weeks,
Yeah.
like, what is happening? Um, but the average donation was $79 or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of people coming together to say, "Hey, man, you
Mismatch.
have," like,
Well,
But
I
that's the brilliance of what you created,
right.
because you're not asking people to make these monumental donations, but you're asking them for
Mhm.
$21, and a lot of times that inspires people to donate more than $21. And but it's such a simple, such a simple ask. Like,
Yeah.
I have no problem sharing and asking my friends to donate $21,
Yeah.
Right, right.
So
Well, and it's also, I think, a testament, obviously, to the community, but there wouldn't be a community without you. And I loved how you talked about how you love people and
It's
also how you handled your birth diagnosis. I wished I had that much grace to handle my birth diagnosis that's the way that you did. If I had had a person in my life like your husband who could have guided me, not blaming
Mhm.
anybody, but my husband and I were the same. We're very ignorant to what the beauty of this extra lucky life is. So you clearly started on the right foot of advocacy and acceptance and support. And you had already built community, right? Like, you have this family at this restaurant. You love your job because you love connecting with people. And I think what you do brilliantly in your marketing and in your messaging is making it about the people, and then also incorporating in your marketing and your videos how what those people donate, how it helps those
What they
Down
they get to
syndrome.
see
They
firsthand,
see
like,
it.
"Hey, man, I donated $21, but oh my gosh, look at this person who just
Yeah.
graduated from Clemson and
Yeah.
is, now living in that community, still away from his parents, and has a job that he loves." And you know what I mean? It's like a direct, I did this, and then look at that, you
It's an
right,
know?
impact. It's a
right,
direct
Yeah,
impact. And you're also
yeah.
a very brilliant, businesswoman,
yes.
because I think, I used
I
to
would
work.
not call myself a
Well,
businesswoman, but
I would.
proceed.
Hello. You raised a lot of money, girl. But I think that
I've been on many, like, honestly though, like, in this Down syndrome world and disability world, like, I've been on many calls with like nonprofits, and people are like, "Can anybody find out how Liz created her
Yeah.
website with
Yeah.
the
We
circle
literally
and
asked
Oh
ourselves,
my
we're like,
god,
how in
that
the
is
world we could
that is
integrate
my
this?
brain baby. That is my brain baby.
that
Like,
that
I literally, my heart wanted people to know that you can donate just by donating $21 or however much you want to donate, $5, just from that and sharing. I wanted them to get a visual and see
Yeah.
how much of an impact they can make,
yeah,
and it's pretty incredible because you start seeing, like, oh, well, here's your little red ring of people that donate directly underneath you. But then you start to see these little sprouts off of the
yeah,
red.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, wow. So that it's like the 7 layers of Kevin Bacon, or what do they say?
yeah,
Not layers, that would be weird. The 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, or whatever they
yes,
say. Like,
yes,
I mean, you just really get to see that, like, it's not just about the donation, it's about that awareness piece. Like, yes, the donation matters because we couldn't give scholarships without without the donations. But it's also this other half of our mission where we want the world to know, man, that people with Down syndrome are
right,
amazing and capable and worthy of it all, right?
right.
So the sharing piece is just as important. And so, yeah, when we kind of had this idea,
Yeah, because
about,
when did that specific, like, sharing capacity for the donations start? Like, was that always from day one, or because you said it was your brain baby? Like, how long did it take
so
you to develop that?
my husband and I went to, like, a networking meeting. This was back in, like, I don't even know, 2015 maybe. We'd gone to, and we have this little joke about whose idea it was. But we had gone to a networking meeting, and at this networking meeting, one of the presenters was talking about how they had asked 10 people to donate $10, and that it turned into like $100,000 or something. I can't remember, but we drove away from there. And then this is where the debate comes. Because I thought it was my idea. But we were like, oh
He's
my
not
gosh, that
here,
was
so we're gonna go with you.
Yeah,
awesome.
he's not here, so it's your
Exactly. It was my idea. I mean, it was collaborative. We were like talking about this idea of it all, and then how cool it would be, with the 3 and the 21. And then from there, it just kind of grew. And then we had some friends at the time who her business was like creating apps and stuff, right? And so uh, had gone to her, and she was like, "Well, I'll donate my people to create this for you." And so that's kind of how it started, was just this idea of, I want this like visual, I want people to see visually. And then, and so anyway, that's how it started. We've since like, you know, um, obviously uh perfected, if you will, kind of the concept and the idea and the website.
Well, and
But
the sharing capabilities, I think, is really smart because social media is so powerful these days, right? It can be a negative place, but we've experienced such positivity in this space. That's how we've been able to build our community. But yeah,
absolutely.
I think what's great about the platform that you've created is that, like personally, that day 321, that when I first did my first
Mhm.
fundraiser, I kept like refreshing.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I kept going up and up and up and up. I was so, I couldn't believe it.
Yes,
I couldn't
I
believe it. I was
know.
so excited. Like, people care, like what you're saying, but I was experiencing it from my community. And I
Yes,
think that that's what
exactly.
you're doing. It's like, yes, it's a big thing. It's a huge
Right.
community of people, but you're able to, as a person that builds their own fundraising page, watch your community show up for you. And
Yes.
that is so impactful.
That's what I love. Yes, you get to go and see, oh gosh, Uncle Bob donated, and then, oh
Yeah.
gosh, Uncle Bob's cousin from whoever donated. I haven't seen that guy in 50 years or whatever,
But
and
thank
you're
you
just,
so much.
I know, you're like, oh my gosh, this community of mine is rad. And that's what I love, when we're talking about like individuals sharing, like, obviously, my heart is sharing. I visit recipients and we do
Yeah.
videos, and
Love
like,
it.
I share a lot about Ruby and, all sorts of things. But what I love is like, people take pieces of what I share that matter to them, and
Hmm.
then they share it with their own community. And then that's what matters. Like, nobody
Yeah.
needs, your community is not going to be inspired as much by all the stuff that I'm sharing about Ruby, because they don't know me or Ruby,
Mm,
but they know your heart, right? And they
Right.
know what's important to you. And because that's important to you, it's important to them.
Right.
And so, that's what I love about it all, is just that like human connection, and that
Mhm.
it's like real,
Yeah.
and like I said, that sharing piece is like just as important to me as any donation, because it's changing the way people see Down syndrome. It's
Yeah.
opening opportunities for people with Down syndrome. I mean, there's just so many other, good things about it that
It's
I love.
incredible.
I don't think I ever like cry more at videos of like
Me
you
too.
delivering
Oh
scholarships
my
because they
gosh,
just
I love him so
like
much.
I, like I just
It's so
can't,
amazing.
I can't imagine what that feels like for the family. Like I know that was, one of the first things in my mind when I got Rhea's diagnosis was like, but what about college and what about this? And you know,
Yeah.
obviously since then I've processed many feelings, including the fact that like I don't know if any of my children are going to college. I can't guarantee any of that, right? So
Right. Well, I didn't even go to college. I always joke, like, look at what I'm doing. I didn't even
right,
go to college,
right.
Right.
So
Like,
Yeah.
I've been disabled
exactly.
for 20 years, and I loved my life. And college
Right.
isn't for everybody, just like college isn't for everybody. For like a person like me, it's not, every person with Down syndrome isn't going to go to college, but that's
Right.
like not the point. It's like the opportunity and the expectations that society has for them
Right.
is that, hey man, it's possible and they could
Right.
go, right? And
Right.
Yeah.
so that's a huge part of like my heart, is really, stressing that like inclusion looks different for everybody, right? Like
Mhm.
that's different across the board. Futures are going to look different for everybody, but the sole mission is to just show the world that people with Down syndrome are amazing and capable and worthy of it all, right?
I love that.
And
Regardless of what they decide to do.
I think just also giving that person with Down syndrome like the knowledge that someone believed in them. There's
Right.
somebody who
Yes.
shared and who fundraised to be able to provide that scholarship. That
Yeah.
What
that
a confidence boost.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
And
and
that,
I
oh, sorry, go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead. No, I
No.
was just say that I love, new parents that, you know, I feel like it really gives them hope and a new like outlook on the future, right? And I think just that little tweak there can change the complete
Yeah,
future or path of somebody with Down syndrome. Is just
for
going,
sure.
oh, wait a minute. I was thinking this, but now I'm thinking this,
Think it
regardless of
bigger.
whether the college happens or whatever. But no, this is the end game. And then you bring this whole community of people with them that believe in them. And,
Hmm.
you've already changed their trajectory just with that, you know,
Well,
one little step.
like we were just talking yesterday to a group of OBs in like large New
Mm.
Jersey hospital network, which is like honestly one of our huge like it means so much to us to be able to do that
Mm.
because what we stress to them is how like the language is so important when you start out saying I'm sorry,
Hmm.
right? Or I
Right.
have bad news. you've
Right.
you've set the tone of that journey from
Hmm.
the first word,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So we encourage them to say, because look, we know that it's unexpected news.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
no one's going into pregnancy expecting that their child is going to have Down syndrome or some of the many things that kids can have.
Right.
Um, so it's unexpected. So you don't have to pretend that it's not. You don't have to be like, I have this wonderful news for you. Like
Right.
we're not like naive, but setting the I have an unexpected news. I have
Yeah.
some information to share with you. Here's some information you can learn. Like, but when you start out saying I'm sorry or I have bad news or are you sitting down or any of those things, you've immediately
Right.
made the parent feel like something is wrong,
Right.
right?
Right.
Someone's
Right.
dying, and it has like a ripple effect on how everything can feel. Sorry,
Yeah,
I
Right.
didn't cut you off.
100%. Oh my God, no, I don't. You
Like,
nuts. You never cut me off. We're basically one mind that just sort of like cycles together at this point. No, but I wanted to ask you about the scholarship recipients. How do you source them, and what is that process like for
You
anyone
mean
that's
like,
listening, like that who has a child that potentially wants to go to college and might
oh, yes,
need some
yes.
financial
So,
support?
well, our application opens in the beginning of every year, and it goes until mid-April this year. I think April 15th is the due date. But yeah, I mean, our application is open to anybody that's 18 years of age and above, is rocking an extra chromosome and pursuing post-secondary education. Um, And, I mean, our oldest recipient, I just hung out with him last night and I'm hanging out with him again tonight. We're doing a little banquet speech together.
Oh,
Mark
amazing.
Hubler, he is 59, and we gave him a scholarship to pursue his dream of becoming a public speaker. And now he's out, traveling the country. Like I said, we're doing
Wait,
a
he has
little
to be on the podcast. Could you connect us?
of
That'd be
course.
great to have him
yeah, we gotta
on.
have him on.
Gosh, of course. He's one of my favorite humans on the planet.
Mhm.
So anyway, I mean, we do our best to, connect with colleges. And like I said, just bringing awareness that we're here and, to apply if you're eligible.
Is there any financial requirement where there needs to be a specific like income level or anything like that? Or
No, we don't. We assume that if you're applying, that you need the funds,
right,
right?
that's awesome.
We have our scholarships are between $1,000 and $10,000. We gave out. Uh, I mean, my dream. It's not cheap, right? This college experience
It
for
ain't.
anyone isn't cheap,
Mhm.
But there's also added costs to these program, there's program fees, and it's just
Housing, all the things.
so we're trying to make it, make as big of an impact per person as we can. So we gave
Incredible.
out, you know a record number of $10,000 scholarships this past year, which was amazing. But yeah, I mean, and we have like our rubric online. Like we're trying to give the applicant all the tools they need to give us their best application, so they know what the review committee members are looking for, or how, not what they're looking for, but how we're like scoring them.
Right.
Um, And Catherine and I even did like a video where we talk about each of the like, you know, each of the sections and everything. So yeah, I mean, we want to give them all of the tools so they can present the best application possible.
Well, we just thank you, Hang the Moon. Thank you for
Oh
doing
my
what
gosh.
you do. You know, we have littles right now, but they're growing so flippin' fast. I'm
Oh
starting to
my
potty train Addie this weekend, which I'm so excited about. But it's just crazy. Like it just you blink and they're
What
almost
is
4.
like what's Ruby up to these days?
Yeah, I want to hear.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so well, this is her second year to be in band. She's playing the trombone. It's her first year as a
That is not
cheerleader.
an easy
The trombone.
instrument.
No, it is not an
Also
easy.
really heavy. God bless
I
you for carrying
know.
that thing around.
I
And
know.
the lung capacity, right?
Well, and girlfriend's been in speech therapy since she was like 6 months old,
Right,
right? So
right.
like
It's got that
oral
hypertonia to
motor,
overcome.
yeah, is not been, her strongest suit. So when she was able to make like the band director, I really flipped out at the end of 5th grade, and when she was going to middle school, and I was like, oh my gosh, like she needs community. I wasn't
Mm,
necessarily flipping out about like her going into middle school. I was flipping out about her going into middle school and getting lost and not finding community, right?
yeah, yeah.
So I was like, man, that's a good way. Like,
Hmm.
get her
I
in
see
with
that now.
school.
Like, I have a 12-year-old who's in her second year of middle school, and I
Mhm.
continually am like, I cannot picture Raya here. Not because she's and I know she will be. Like,
Yeah.
I know
Right.
she will be, but I can't
Right.
like, even
Yeah.
Hard
though
to
she's
imagine.
only 3, and I get that
Right.
I can't. That's why I can't. But I'm like, oh, it's so much. It's so
Yeah.
like easy to get lost in the shuffle. So
Even for a neurotypical
Totally.
I'm already
kiddo.
making note of the band
Yeah.
thing.
Well, and Ruby, she's fully thrown into the mix of middle school. She navigates 8 classes on her own.
Wow.
Like she comes home and we'll say she has homework and we'll help her the best that we can. I mean, she has supports in her classes that
Hmm.
different classes that are there to help her reach her IEP goals. And I mean, is she doing 7th grade level math? No, she's not. But that's not the
Right.
point. She
That's not
doesn't
the
have
right.
to be
Hmm.
doing 7th grade level math to
Honestly,
be
I'm not doing
successful.
7th grade level math,
She
so
brings
it's
them home
fine.
and I'm
And
like,
I'm
whoa,
successful, girlfriend. It's fine.
exactly. There's calculators.
And there's Taryn.
Uh,
She's the math one in the,
I
this
have my
group.
husband too. He's the
Yeah.
math one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so, and it's been great, like just really trying to collaborate with the teachers and give them ideas to help motivate her. And, so it's definitely like a team effort, but we've been incredibly lucky that, in elementary and in middle school, they believe in her and they want her in the classrooms and and I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of half the battle, right? Is the believing in that's what's best for even though it's best,
You gotta have
um
your team on board.
Yeah.
yeah, but she came home at the end of last year with a two of her band friends that she met were trying out for cheerleader, and so she came home with the cheerleading like paper, and I'm like, really, cheer, okay, all right. She tried out, she made it, and that has been like her, like she just loves it, like
Oh.
she loves learning, the cheers, and they just learned a new dance to a Britney Spears song, like for halftime at basketball.
Mm.
So, I mean, she's found community there as well, and
Well, and she
so
has her best friend Nella, right? That they aren't they still in touch a lot?
oh yeah, and, her and Noah, now that they both have phones, they do text.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
loved the little collaboration you guys did recently.
Oh, in October, yeah,
Yeah, that was really
yeah.
lovely.
Our October awareness campaigns. Yeah, we've been
Yeah,
doing that for like 10 years.
I know. I
So
loved the
crazy.
the original pictures and now the
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
right?
really
I
cute.
know. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so she's a typical 13-year-old, man, full of sass and, she's just I
Is she
mean,
all into the skincare? Because that's what we're all my
Well,
kids.
we're
are
literally
going.
having a spa. So after this, we have some more work to do, and then we're having a spa day for the girls.
Aw.
I get a lot of PR packages, and I have all this skincare. I mean, you appreciate it as a
Yes, bring on the skincare.
esthetician.
Esthetician, yes.
You have it.
You can say the word. And so we're gonna like set up little skincare station.
Oh,
We're gonna do our skincare.
fun.
We're gonna have some cupcakes.
Oh,
Have a little girly day.
Yeah.
that's fun. She's not really into the skincare
Okay. You're
or
lucky then.
You're lucky. It's expensive.
the makeup yet.
Yeah.
So, and her sister's not a huge like makeup. I mean, she wears some makeup, so I guess, and I don't wear makeup, so like there hasn't been
You're
like
not wearing makeup? I'm unwell. I just gonna
Okay.
need you to drop the routine. Seriously. Look at her forehead. She has one wrinkle.
I know, I know.
Oh my god, I have lots of wrinkles. You're
Okay.
No.
you're a little
Just say thank you, Liz. Just say thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no, but she's a typical, she likes to hang out with her, her friends. Her big thing is she loves bouncing on her ball and listening to music. She told me the other day, music is life. So
It is.
I agree with her.
It is.
Kelly Clarkson is, one of her
Favorite.
obvious faves,
Yeah.
along with Ruby Lee, who is a voice contestant that she just got to meet. We went up and met her. So I feel like, she lives this pretty charmed life, getting to, she's going to start thinking that she can meet any celebrity that she wants pretty soon. So
Hey, we believe in delusional manifestation over here, so tell her to keep going.
I know, I do. I'm like, okay, well, we'll just keep going. We'll see. Yeah. Her new thing, well, it's not her new thing for a long time. She's been wanting to go on the Kelly Clarkson show and eat queso with her. So
I mean,
we're currently working on that. So we'll
Okay.
see
Same.
if that comes to fruition. She
So
wants
she
to
likes queso too?
Yes.
Does
She
she
likes
like the white queso or the yellow? Like, what is the Texas queso? Because I grew up in North
we're
Carolina, and
yellow.
it's the white queso. Okay, yellow queso.
We're yellow. Yeah. And Kelly's from
She's from
Texas.
Texas, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
she's from Texas.
Yeah.
I'm a big
So-
Kelly Clarkson fan too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we love her.
Yeah.
Well, we got to go not visit, sorry. We went to Vegas to see one of her shows. And so I was gunning, like asking anybody, like, we're going, Ruby would freak out to meet her, oh my gosh. And turns out that she wasn't doing any kind of meet and greets or anything. But her lead vocalist, Jesse Collins, it's just like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon again. Like somebody was like, "Oh, well," one of our pledge committee moms actually was like, "Well, my husband's ex college roommate dated her." And so he reached out to her and she was like, "Well, Kelly's not doing, meet and greets, but I'll meet with her,
Oh.
And because Ruby watches all things Kelly Clarkson, like literally she YouTubes the most random things, you guys. I'll walk in, I'll be like, "What are you watching?" And it's like, Anyway, so she knows who Jesse Collins is.
That's
so
awesome. Oh my gosh.
we got to meet her before the show, and then I asked, the security people. I was like, "Hey, I know Kelly comes out and does like a when she sings a song Breakaway, she comes out and does this like swoop right here. Can we like Ruby would lose her mind to like get her photo with you or photo with her, whatever, just to say hi." And he's like, "Yes, you two," because there was 6 of us. So he said, "You two can come down." So we got to go down. And but before that, you guys, this is even the coolest part. We're sitting there. Kelly Clarkson comes out, and I know I'm babbling on about this, but this was
I love it.
I love this.
this was an incredible experience.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there, and she comes out and she does her first couple of songs, and we're screaming and dancing, and we're in the nosebleeds. We're literally second to last row.
Just want to be in the room where it happens.
Mama's not made of money. But so we are sitting there, and all of a sudden she's doing her, talking to the crowd and whatever. And then she's like, "And I know I have a fan out there, Ruby. Ruby, are you out there?" And she totally did a shout out for Ruby, and we're literally in the nosebleeds, like,
Oh my gosh.
I mean, there was no way. It was see her or whatever.
Oh wow.
But yeah, and so then we got to go, and Ruby literally was like, "What just happened?" Like I
Yes.
got in the video. It's like one of the pinned things on my
Okay, we
Instagram.
gotta go watch that
We
episode.
gotta
Yeah,
go watch
yeah,
it. This is
okay.
pretty incredible. And then we got to go down. He said, "Well, come down during this song." And so we went down during that song. And it turned out it was like 4 songs later that she came out. So we're literally like right down by the stage for 4 songs.
Wow.
And she came out and she goes, "What's up, Ruby?" Like she knew who she was immediately when she saw her, and gave, Ruby was like in shock, you know. And so then she like, "Well, you want to take a photo?" And Ruby was just like, "Yeah."
Oh my gosh.
So we took a photo, and then when she was walking away, she goes, "You look beautiful." And so Ruby's always like, "She told me that I looked beautiful." So it was an incredible. Oh, and then Ruby started crying because we had to go back to our nosebleed section, and she's like, I want to stay
I
here."
prefer it
And I'm
here.
like,
So do I, but yes.
That is a
I was like,
shout out Kelly Clarkson. Oh my gosh. She really
yes.
is a wonderful.
Oh
I love
my
her show.
gosh.
I bet
love
she's gonna get on that show and they're gonna eat all the queso one day. If she can make
I
that
mean,
happen,
Now I
it's
want
possible.
queso though.
I know. Now should we get Taco Bell?
We should get queso.
fingers
Well,
crossed.
Liz, we love you. We adore you. Can you please share with
Yeah.
us where we can all follow you, what your website is,
Yes.
and make sure our community and listeners can connect?
So Facebook and Instagram is just Ruby's Rainbow, and then we're on Twitter, but we don't really tweet that much. But that's Ruby's Rainbow org.
Mhm.
You mean
And
X?
then yes. Oh yes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I
Formerly
forgot.
known as, like everything
Yeah.
says Twitter, formerly known as
I know
X.
that's so weird.
What is
Yeah.
or X, formerly known as Twitter. And I always
Yeah.
feel like, remember when Prince changed his name and he was like the symbols, but do you guys remember that?
I
And it
don't.
was
Yeah. When Prince
formerly
was
known
like
as
formerly
Prince,
known as Prince.
I don't know.
Oh,
Might be
okay.
cute.
but it was like symbols was his anyway.
I think she just called us old.
No, I came out and then
She's like, I
realized-
might be too, and she was about to say young.
Oh my
The words didn't come
gosh.
out. So
Not me being
What?
age ableist. Oh my god, sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. I'm I'm like
so
100 years old in my soul, so that's fine.
yeah.
So, and then you can find us on rubiesrainbow.com. No, I'm sorry.
.org.
Rubiesrainbow.org.
Yes.
Yes.
And we'll make sure all that's there.
put that
You'll
on the
also
show notes.
see Jess and I sharing during pledge
Yes,
time.
we'll
So
be having
Yes.
extra lucky.
Well, I guess I could talk a little bit about that. Just with the pledge coming up for World Down Syndrome Day, 321pledge.org is that wonderful website that we were talking about. And that's where you can go and take the pledge and then share it and watch your impact in your community and your donation grow. So,
yes, we
yes.
will. We'll make sure everyone knows that too. So first, before we ask you our final signature question,
Ooh,
I
signature.
just wanted to say thank you because there's moms who have just left a trail behind them in this journey. There's the moms who in the 80s were taking their kids home and they have changed everything for all of us, right? There's moms who have said, no, that diagnosis is not okay. And they've started places like the DSDN and all the things that are, we're not taking that. There's moms who fought for the ABLE Act and, all of those kinds of things. So, what you're doing for higher education and for future opportunity for our kids is everything. So thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you.
And what our question is, what makes you extra lucky?
Oh my gosh, so many things.
Maybe we
Oh
should
wow,
prepare our guests for this question. Everyone
that's
knows.
like a Pandora's
big ass.
box. Yes. Man, I mean, geez, I don't know. I just feel very lucky to, so many things. Like this community for one, I would have never had this rad community had I not had this awesome little girl that had that magical extra chromosome, I could say that magical extra chromosome
Yeah.
it makes me lucky. But also, the things and the people and the opportunities and the way that I feel like now I am able to make a difference. I mean, I made a difference with people's hair problems, and there's
Don't diminish
right?
that.
Yes, you know, but now I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be,
It's your
Yeah.
and
purpose.
It's your
yeah,
legacy for sure.
yeah, and so
Yeah.
that has been incredible and life
Well, and
changing.
thank you for paving the way for this next generation.
Oh, well, you're welcome. I'll do any. I'll say I'll keep flapping my gums as long as people will listen. So
Well, thank you, Liz, for
Thank
being
you,
on. Thank you to
Liz.
everyone who listened to
yeah,
this episode. If it resonated with you, please share it so that everyone else can hear it and we can continue to share the message of this extra lucky life. So thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
you're
Bye.
welcome. Bye.